Hello, my name is Yaron Spiwak. I'm the music director for the Center for Spiritual Living, and I want to start our morning with a happy song. Imagine me and you, I do. I think about you day and night. It's only right to think about the God you love and hold him tight. So happy together. If I should call you up, invest the time, and you say you belong to me, and ease my mind, imagine how the world could be so very fine, so happy together. I can't see me loving nobody but you for all my life. When you're with me, baby, the skies will be blue for all my life. Me and you, and you and me, no matter how we tossed the dice, it had to be. The only one for me is you, and you for me, so happy together. I can't see me loving nobody but you for all my life. When you're with me, baby, the skies will be blue for all my life. For me and you and me, no matter how we toss the dice, it had to be. The only one for me is you, and you for me, so happy together. Oh, la 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 da 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 ba 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 da 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 da. So happy together. How is the weather? So happy together. How is the weather?
I love it. What a great welcome in, Yaron.
Hey, how are you? How's the weather, Keith?
You know, it's a little cloudy and chilly here in the land of Los Angeles, and that is what it is. And I'm going to choose to be happy about it and grateful because I get to break out a scarf and put it around my neck. How about that?
Irvin, you look fabulous, if I may say.
Thank you, and you as well, with that
Thank you.
palm frond hanging over your left shoulder. So I know that you're joining us. Excuse me, you're joining us today from Orlando, Florida. And so the backdrop is not the real world that you're living in. You're in a hotel room, and you're on the you're at Epcot, if I know correctly, as you work for Disney, and that you have the land of zebras and giraffes strolling through your backyard, so to speak, right now. So
That is correct. That is all true.
good. Well, I'm so happy that you're joining us. It's really great to have you back today. And let's all give a big round of applause to Yaron Spiwak, our music director, who's back with us today, both as our music director and as our featured musical artist. So thank you so much, Yaron.
See you in a
See
little
you in
bit.
a bit. See you in a minute. And a good morning to each and every one of you, and welcome to our virtual space known as the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. It is Sunday morning, 10 a.m. Pacific time, and wherever you may be joining us from, a big hello and a big welcome to you. Whether you're joining us through the app called Zoom or Facebook Live, or later through our app and or website and or YouTube channel, a big hello and a big welcome to you, that you have given yourself the gift to come together in this community and experience the virtual reality of the interconnectedness of the only thing there is, which is spirit. And in the sense and spiritual truth of that, we get to commune together and feel that interconnectedness that exists by means of each and every one of us. It's the last Sunday in the month of September in the year 2021, and we wrap up our theme for the month, which is Happy Days Are Here Again. And I invite you today that as we move into this space of our online service, which are the only type of services that we have these days, unfortunately, that we choose to know together that happy days are here, and that we feel the power and the presence of the only thing that there is, which is spirit. And in so doing, we support each other in finding our personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. So I invite you to sit back, relax, open your mind, open your heart, open your soul to this time that we come together and our Sunday celebration service. Much of our service today will be done with slides on the screen. I like to do that once or twice a month, and today is one of those days for that. So if you're here for the first time, welcome. Those of you that are regulars and repeats, a big honor and welcome to you, and let's kick it off. And so we welcome you. We celebrate you. We welcome all races and ethnicities, all religions, all countries of origins, all gender identities, all sexual orientations, all disabilities and abilities, and all spoken language for all ages. Everyone, if you will, is welcome here. I invite us each to take a moment as we look at the myriad of faces on the screen, since we're not able to see each other's faces yet till after the service, and just bring into our mind's eye that there is one or more of someone who is representative on the screen, that is in the field, the resonance field of the connection of what is transpiring by means of this service today. Let's remember that everyone individualizes that stamp of the divine. As many of you know, my favorite Ernest Holmes quote is, "Spirit has placed the stamp of individuality upon itself and called it you." And so let's let today be the day that we welcome one and welcome all. And in so doing, we honor and celebrate the diversity of all of humanity. And so as a community known as CSL-LA, which stands for Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, we choose to know that it is, a happy day. So, happy day. We're going to learn more today about the importance of choosing to be happy. And we do that by letting love be present in who and what we are, because it's part of our innate nature. To continue referencing Dr. Ernest Holmes, the founder of the teachings of the science of mind, he defines love as the self-givingness of spirit, whose desire to create more of itself is out of itself, and the only way it can do that is through you and through me. And so today, let's make a commitment to ourselves to let this presence, this spirit, this essence of life do its thing through us and multiply and propagate itself through us as it only can do, and we allow it to do that. Here at our community, we are a teaching community that come together to teach this philosophy, faith, and way of life known as the science of mind, whose very essence and principles are that there's only one energy in the universe. As I stated earlier, it's individualized by means of you and by means of me, but it's considered the one omnipotent, omniscient energy that exists out in the universe. That yes, we individualize it, but it is all present all the time. It is the creative force of the universe. It is that which has created everything that exists. And that there's only one way to be aware of it, and it's through our mind. That everything is indeed mind. And as we individualize this mind, we also then interpret and experience this one thing as we choose to express it. And so it's this cycle of evolution, if we choose to consciously participate in that, of fine-tuning the way that we think and show up and act and react and interact with life itself. And in so doing, it brings back to us an experience or experiences that reflect the state of mind that we choose to know, to own, and to reveal. I say reveal because we are imbued with the qualities of this power, the power of the divine, the power of spirit, the power of the thing itself. In our philosophy and faith and way of life, we look at those qualities and believe them to be and to include, but not exclude others, but include peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom. And so today, let's practice those, or at least one of them, in a way that brings forth a higher evolutionary state of mind for us. In other words, happiness and peace and goodwill, living a good life, and trust that the universe will return to us multiplied abundantly as it fulfills its nature. To repeat our vision statement for our community is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. Let's all take a deep breath in and just anchor ourselves into a lot of information that I've shared with us already. And through this act of breath, let us become ever more aware of the spiritual awakening that exists within us already, just simply by making the choice to be in a place to propagate our good, to reveal its nature of good, to let our divine nature out to play, and in so doing, having a greater faith in the power and the presence of this power and presence, and its nature to return itself to us multiplied abundancy, and in so doing, giving us an opportunity to become more and more empowered. We open our service every Sunday morning with a ritual called Calling in the Light. And the purpose of this ritual is to draw into this gathering a more conscious awareness of our oneness and the qualities, as I spoke of earlier, that we each possess as complete expressions of the divine. And so we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths and all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call spirit. And so fundamental to this truth is the unifying nature of all religious thought and experience. And so let's honor that today by honoring the faces and the light of life that exists within those faces that we saw earlier on the screen. Calling in the light. A great way to do that is through the act of chanting. The great Sanskrit words, the Hindu words of Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti means bring to me Om, the perfect vibration in the universe, and Shanti, Shanti, peace in mind and soul. And so I invite us all to feel that presence of Om Shanti, Shanti, Om Shanti, Shanti. Bring to me peace in mind and soul, peace in thought and intention, peace in speech and action, for peace in me and you, for peace in oneness. There's a song that we like to sing and that has been sung in Centers for Spiritual Living, also known as Churches of Religious Science over the years, called Let There Be Peace on Earth. I know that many of you are familiar with this song, and we're going to sing it next as Yaron comes on the screen. I invite you to raise your awareness to each time you sing along in the privacy of your own home and you hear the word peace. Think of Om Shanti, Shanti. The peace that already exists in mind and soul, that's existing through thought and intention, through speech, the song, and action, and the peace that's in me and in you and in all aspects of life. Your own. The lyrics will be on the screen.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. God is creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my soul and vow to take each moment and live each moment with peace eternally. Let peace on earth, and let it begin with me. And let it begin with me.
And so I affirm for each one of us right now that peace has indeed begun with us, for it is us and as us. As if we are engaging in that act of namaste, the peace in me honors and acknowledges the peace in you. We feel that vibrational flow already transpiring. Letting a new resonance field make itself known to us and through us right now, providing a sense of personal self-empowerment. And so as we move through this time together today, we awaken to a greater awareness and acceptance of who we are as a spiritual being. And with joy in our heart, peace in our mind, we give it to others as well, through honoring the power itself, and so it is. Thank you, Yaron. Thank you to each of you for participating in our morning ritual. I know that at times it becomes a bit rote, and certainly in this format, and we do it the same because it is a ritual. But personally for myself, I like to open up and hear it anew and to feel it anew. I absolutely love the song, Let There Be Peace on Earth. And I had this morning as I went for a walk with my pooch early this morning in the chilly LA weather, what popped up on a memory for Facebook for me was a really beautiful version of that song that I had posted on Facebook 5 years ago. That was at, I believe, an event honoring the effects of 9/11. It was a children's choir from around the world that had sung it. And I listened to it over and over and over again this morning. And what it reminded me is that each time we sing or hear that song, it's a layer upon layer of consciousness that is revealing itself through us, where we know to let peace be present in our world, and to remember that peace, much like every other element of the divine itself, begins with us, with you and with me, as we choose to let it out and to be a conscious participant in co-creating the world we desire to experience, as opposed to sitting back and being a victim of the experiences of life. I'm going to invite Yaron back on the screen to sing a song for us this morning that is an original song that speaks even more to this philosophy and faith and way of life known as the science of mind. And the lyrics speak a lot to what we practice and teach here, right, Yaron?
Yeah.
So what's the title of the song?
Restore, refresh, and renew your soul.
I love it. Have at it. Thank you.
Thank you. Start the awakening for the light of the divine. Open your consciousness to the science of your mind. Embrace your own divinity, because if you seek, then you shall find. But don't forget to give yourself a little bit of time. You gotta restore, refresh, and renew your soul. Grow the roots of love so you can stand tall. You gotta restore, refresh, renew, and rejoice. Let the power of God speak in your voice. Oh, 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 oh. Today I will choose wisely. To myself I will be kind. Revel in the grace of God and of the divine. Grow tall and not grow tired, to rejuvenate. And remember to stop and give myself a break. We need to restore, refresh, renew your soul. Grow the roots of love so you can stand tall. You gotta restore, refresh, renew, and rejoice. Let the power of God speak in your voice. One more time. Restore, refresh, renew your soul. Grow the roots of love so you can stand tall. You gotta restore, refresh, and renew and rejoice. Let the power of God speak in your voice. voice. Let the power of God speak in your voice. Oh, 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 oh.
Fantastic. Well, the power of God, that individualized, that full power itself, is speaking as your voice quite well. Thank you for that really beautiful and simple tune. It's one of the things I love about it. It's just so simple, and it gives us great instruction, and you embody it so well as you float out over the mountains in your virtual world. So, the flying nun, Yaron Spiwak. Wow, he just disappeared. He flew away. And so here we are, ending the month of September with our theme of Happy Days Are Here Again. And so I'm going to put on the screen the graphic for that as we move into this morning. Happy Days Are Here Again. And so we've been on a journey this month of learning more about choosing to have happiness in our days, to understand and remember that happiness, which is defined as living a good life, is really up to us no matter what's going on in life. And so this morning, as I move us through a presentation through Keynote to remind us of that, we're going to look at happiness from a whole different angle today, and letting God be your voice, or using your voice as God. I'm going to open with an article that I found that I think so many of you will find most interesting, and it's through someone who was choosing to use their voice to answer this question: is gratitude the secret of happiness? Let's give thanks. This article was written by a woman by the name of Moya Sarner. And here's what Moya has to say. A memory came to mind recently of opening presents after my 7th or 8th birthday party. The thrill of the smooth, sharp-edged wrapping paper as I ripped it open. The breathless discovery of the gift concealed within. I also remember the many dull hours in the days that followed, writing thank you letter after thank you letter to grandparents, aunties, neighbors, and friends, my mother sitting beside me addressing the envelopes. This could be why the notion of formalized, prescribed, and premeditated gratitude, which in the past decade has become the darling of positive psychology and the self-help movement, tends to stick in my craw. So, too, the piles of gratitude journals displayed in the gift shops among other tat, bespattered with cheesy quotations at jaunty angles, overcompensatingly inspirational gifts for uninspired givers on a deadline, which just makes me laugh. Even hearing the word gratitude makes my shoulders tense and my eyes narrow. I'm too cynical to get on board this particular Oprah bandwagon, too British, too atheist, and too sensitive to the schmaltz. Let's just take that in for a second. But she goes on to write, but gratitude's currency continues to increase in value. A wall of gratitude was erected in Sheffield last month, built with bricks that each contained a personal message written by local residents expressing appreciation for something important in their lives. Dr. Fuchsia Sirah, a psychologist at the University of Sheffield who is running the project, explains that a scientific consensus has developed in the past 10 years that undermines my instinctive cynicism. For Sirah and researchers in this field, gratitude is more than a slogan on a mug. It is a unique predictor of well-being, a protective cloak that could help shield those who feel it from poor mental health. Study after study has found a robust association between higher levels of gratitude and well-being, including protection from stress and depression, more fulfilling relationships, better sleep, and greater resilience. Simple exercises that people can do on their own, such as spending 2 weeks writing a daily list of 3 things for which they are grateful, having been found to increase life's satisfaction. decrease worry, and improve body image, with the beneficial effects lasting for up to 6 months. Gratitude was one of the most powerful variables that personality psychologists could find when it came to predicting well-being, over and above most known factors, from wealth and health to other personality traits such as optimism, Cyril says. There is something very, very special about gratitude. It's something wholly unique unto itself, that from a statistical standpoint rises up to the top of the milk like cream, she says. But why? What is it about this emotional experience that has such a miraculous impact? She goes on in the article to talk about her experience of writing in her gratitude journal. She says, I couldn't bring myself to buy one of the journals with a corny saying on the cover, so I used my regular diary. The first night, I struggled to work out exactly what I was supposed to be writing and simply noted some good experiences I had had that day. But that did not seem quite right. I was pleased these things had taken place, but I did not feel what Cyril described as an overwhelming feeling of appreciation. The next night, I adapted my method and wrote the words, "Today I was grateful for." As I pondered what to write next, I felt a warm, settled, comforting feeling in the pit of my stomach. Over the following weeks, I was at various times grateful for the time to read my book, grateful to my husband for cooking me soup, grateful to feel the stretch of my muscles in my Pilates class. I began noticing things to be grateful for as they happened, mentally filing away the moment for that night's gratitude list. My husband grew used to drifting off to sleep only to be woken 10 minutes later when I crept out of bed, having realized suddenly what I had forgotten. I suspect that at those moments, any increase I experienced in gratitude was offset by a decrease in his. As the pages in my diary filled up with scribbled gratitude, I started to find the concept less vomitous. Today, I invite us to begin to look at the act of gratitude from the perspective of, is it the secret of happiness? And to give ourselves permission to potentially even let the instruction to let us feel a bit vomitous if we want, to do a self-inventory, a real check-in with ourselves as to how it feels when someone tells us to give thanks or to be happy. The article goes on to say that scientists cannot yet tell us where, how, or why gratitude develops in the brain, says Wood. But he references the economist and philosopher, I'm sorry, I couldn't say that word, philosopher Adam Smith's theory that it has an evolutionary purpose. Smith argued that society only works if we repay the aid that we get from other people. But since we have no legal or financial incentive to do so, we have evolved a sense of gratitude that makes us do it. If we've naturally evolved to feel it, that rather flips the question from what causes gratitude to what causes ingratitude. And so today I want us to begin to look at, are we willing to choose to feel gratitude in a new way in our life? And from the perspective of knowing that it has a purpose in our life. According to this study, gratitude shields us from negativity. And last week and the week before, I spoke of how many of you know that I've had some issues with the words positivity and negativity, but of recent, I've come to realize of having a new thought that if we look at positivity as affirming our divinity, negativity, meaning denying our divinity, that if we live in gratitude, it will shield us from those acts of denying the divine that exists and expresses itself by means of us. Gratitude gives us the opportunity to be at least 25% happier in life. Remember, the objective this month and ongoing is to live in a state of happy days are here again. That gratitude rewires your brain It eliminates stress and heals. Remembering healing is not only in the physical sense, but the revelation of our divinity. It improves sleep and it boosts self-esteem and performance. It enhances the law of attraction and it improves relationships. Choose to give thanks, because gratitude is the key to finding happiness. Happiness does not depend on external things or objects. If a state, it is a state of equanimity, of spiritual balance that emerges from ideas, inner thoughts based on one's inner resources. Happiness is the absolute, and philosophy is the science of absolute, as Hegel said. So what I invite you to know right now is that happiness is not a result of anything in the external. It's a revelation, it's a revealing of that state of equanimity, that oneness, that wisdom, those ideas, those inner thoughts, that the engaging of the peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom that already is innate within us. It is inherent with who we are as a being of life. And so happiness as a vibrational frequency, as a way of life, as a state of mind is already within us, waiting to be called forth. Well, how do we do that? We do that by simply choosing gratitude as a state of mind and beginning right where we are, just as the woman in the article. To even give ourselves permission to experience the feelings of schmaltziness, if that's part of this gratitude experience. If we're angry and upset about something, give ourselves permission to feel that and then stop and choose to be grateful for the opportunity to feel the feelings that we're having that are contrary to the happiness that exists within. This definition tells us that gratitude is this. Life is one big continuous circle of giving and receiving energy. Be thankful for who and what's in your life instead of complaining about what you don't have. If you focus on gratitude, you'll start to attract prosperity and abundance. And of course, that is the ultimate objective here, is not only just to attract prosperity and abundance as the external, but to remember that external is a reflection of the consciousness that we have evolved into. How are we living our life? Are we standing in the complaint line and participating that, just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting to give voice to that which is in opposition to our divine nature? I love this little graphic because it shows the long line of people that's waiting to complain, to not live in gratitude, and yet there's no one at the gratitude window. And yet you and I can be the first today. And that as the individual says to the right, well, I try to be grateful, but then I just feel worse for being an ingrate. Ever have those moments? It's okay. But then we get to choose in that moment to give thanks for the awareness that we're being an ingrate, and to then choose a new state of mind. Remember, the very basic foundation of this philosophy, faith, and way of life is to change your thinking, change your life. And the only way that one can do that is to become aware of where we're thinking. Now, many of you know that I love the map of consciousness as designed and put together by Dr. David Hawkins. And I had a most wonderful experience this week before I move on of one of my counseling clients that I work with has been going through a journey, and we've been using the map of consciousness. And I said to him this week, you have a homework assignment. I want you to put that map of consciousness everywhere you go, and everywhere that you go in life. I want to see it. I want to see it in your bathroom. I want a mirror. I want to see it in your office, blah, blah, blah. And you have to take a photograph of that and send it to me. And yesterday I'd had a situation where I was feeling discouragement and blame and anger and hatred. And then I was feeling hatred, and then I was feeling rage, and not a great frame of mind. And literally my neighbor said to me, you need to take a deep breath, you're going to have a heart attack. And as I took a deep breath and came in to work on this talk and began to move into a state of gratitude, I received an email from my client when saying to me, homework is complete, open the attachment. And as I opened the attachment, he had sent to me photographs of the map of consciousness. And one was in the opening of a tree in the redwood forest. remembering the assignment was where he is in life. The other one was attached to the Hollywood sign. There was one attached to the Taj Mahal and to the Eiffel Tower and to the London Bridge, which immediately caused me to break out into a sense of laughter and joy, and became quite clear that the universe had responded to me, saying to me, look, Mary, get out of the blame, get out of the anger, get out of the discouragement. Deep within you already is happiness and joy if you're but willing to open up to this, and you know how to change your thinking and change your life. On the screen is the map of consciousness at those lower levels of, as you can see from the number 0 of death up to 200, where frustration and irritation, impatience and overwhelm exist. And those are on the lower vibrational frequencies of 0 to 100, according to Dr. David Hawkins. And you and I don't live there as a rule on a daily basis, but certainly there are these moments. But our objective here is to move beyond that and to know that happy days are here again as a way of life. And to remember that everything around us is made up of energy. So if we want to attract into our world positive, or those things that affirm our divinity, things in our life, we have to then choose to give off positive, affirming our divinity energy. No matter what's going on in life, we have the opportunity, by nature of who we are, by nature of the nature of nature, to choose to think anew, to engage in and be aware of our state of mind as it is in the moment, and then to take a deep breath and to choose anew. To look at ourselves, our entire being, like this graphic on the screen, and ask ourselves, what are we emitting? Is it positive, loving, wonderful energy that is reflecting our divinity, or our karmic wheels in life, our chakras vibrating and fulfilling their destiny? Or are we at those very lower vibrational frequencies of life and emitting an energy that is attracting back to us more of itself that is not of peace, of power, of beauty, of joy, of light, of life, of love, of wisdom? But we have the ability to know deep within us, which is what attracted us to this philosophy and faith and way of life and teaching, that if we want our world to be changed, whether it's in the very moment or in a long range objective, we do that by changing our thinking. Because everything is mind, the mind of God. And so we have before us an understanding today that the very basic way to change our life so as to experience more happiness, true happiness, is to do so using gratitude as the filter, and to use gratitude as we choose optimism in life, to choose gratitude as we engage in selflessness, thinking of others, no matter how they may be behaving. Choosing gratitude as we express our spirituality, our oneness of life, the essence of who we are. To choose gratitude when we're empathetic to life and all expressions of life. And to choose gratitude in how we own our self-esteem. It's through beginning in gratitude as we move through all of these filters that true happiness, a revelation, a reflection of our innateness, will be our experience in life. Dr. Hawkins was onto something here. If you look at the higher levels of his map of consciousness, you'll see that happiness is in that 500 range. And my sense with all of us is that we live down in the 400 and 310 and up range of living with reason and hope and optimism and a willingness to change life itself. We live allowing the self-givingness of spirit to do its thing through us. We live loving on an emotional level. We live with enthusiasm and happiness, no matter if we have those moments that are contradictory to that. But to remember that we can choose a state of mind that is transcendent of love and happiness, and as a result of living in that state of mind and it being transcendent, it'll automatically draw into our world a world that is foundationally built on happiness, because we're choosing gratitude to be the modality and the methodology of how we're living life. If you look at gratitude in this perspective, it's as close as you can get to the consciousness of God. As close as we can get to the consciousness of the I am, that I am, that I am. As close as we can get to the consciousness of fulfilling and expressing the highest consciousness possible of humanity. We have choices in life all the time. Choices changes life. Let's remember that as we continue to move forward and release any fear that we may have, and to begin to tune in today in a new way in regards to the vibrational essence of gratitude. As I shared with you that story from yesterday, I could feel the visceral difference in the vibrational frequency of my energy when I was angry, and then yet when I was laughing. And not only could I feel it, but loved ones in my life could feel it as well, and they weren't even in the room. They weren't even in the building, and one wasn't even on the same block. It just goes to show you the vibrations of life itself and who and what we are, transcendent of the body, the vessel that we navigate life in. And so I love this quote that tells us that the vibration of appreciation is the closest vibration that can be experienced by a human being to that of their non-physical core energy. Appreciation, gratitude feels good, and you're powerful. Important now. And it guarantees wonderful future experiences as the universe responds again and again to your signal. And if we get nothing else out of today, let's make sure that we hear that the universe responds again and again to our signal, to the very essence of who and what we are, the vibrational frequency that we are emitting. Remember the graphic on the screen of the body of the being that was radiating color and light and auras, and all that we do vibrate and experience and express and radiate and put out into the universe. That we always have before us an opportunity. The medium Abraham Hicks tells us this: I can always reach for a thought that feels better. What they're telling us there is to reach for a thought that feels better. Not that we cerebrally think is better, we know through our feelings exactly the state of consciousness that we're in. And we always have the opportunity before us to reach for a thought that feels better. Change our thinking, change our life. But remember that changing of our thinking doesn't have to be stopping and affirming, I am God, I am God, I am God. That's just as schmaltzy as the woman was talking about of the gratitude journals that she sees in the coffee shop on the corner. Let's move beyond that and move into a state of feeling, of vibrations, of energy, and let the energy guide us where we need to go. The great teacher Louise Hay says, choose gratitude as a way of life. She says gratitude is a way of life, should we choose it. It's the active practice of thankfulness and appreciation. Being grateful can be as simple as sending positively charged thoughts, just as Abraham Hicks told us, out into the universe to give thanks for all that you have and all that you are. Let's do that right now. And bring into our mind's eye everyone that's in the field of this class, this Sunday service, that they're doing it as well. If you have the names up on the screen, begin to look at the names of these individuals and send positively a reflection of your divine charged thoughts to them. And trust and know that they're doing the same to and for us. And let's let that be a guide for us to just take a deep breath in and relax our shoulders. And you can even say their names out loud. That you're thankful for Sherry or Sandra or John or Craig or Ted or Tamara or Donald or Alexis or Robert or Layla or Tom or Travis or Wendy or Yaron or any other name I may have spoken. Thank you for letting me send to you my positively charged thoughts, knowing that each and every one of you are receiving them, and I'm receiving them back to me. What a gift we have before us today to remember that, just as we've just experienced in that moment, that shift that just took place in this moment, that the universe does indeed love gratitude. For the more grateful that we are, the more goodies we get. And when she says goodies, she doesn't mean material things. She says, I mean all the people, places, and experiences that make life so wonderfully worth living. Those that are joining us on Facebook, Lenore and Olivia and Edward and James and others, I can't see the names, but I know who are typically there. We all know how great we feel when our life is filled with love and joy and health and creativity. And that when we get the green lights in the parking spaces and things work out with our neighbors. When we've forgiven ourselves for actions that we've stepped into in life that have been yet less than positive or affirming our divinity. We know that our lives are meant to be lived, as Louise tells us, this of emitting of high vibrational frequency and letting it return to us multiplied abundantly. This is how our lives are meant to be lived. For the universe by nature is generous. It's an abundant giver, and it likes to be appreciated because its role is to respond to us by multiplying itself abundantly. And so she goes on to tell us, think about how you feel when you give a friend a present. If the person looks at it and their face falls or says, oh, it's not my size, not my color, I never use anything like that, or is that all there is, or their response is less than loving or divinely oriented, then we all know that we sure will have little desire to ever give that present or be in their presence again. However, if their eyes dance with delight and they're pleased and grateful and loving and compassionate and respectful, we know that every time we see those individuals, we'll want to give them more and more and more. And that's true for us as well with others. And so today, let's remember to be grateful, to just simply live in gratitude, remembering that it's the key to happiness. Louise says that by the time she's gotten out of bed, she's probably expressed gratitude for 80 or 100 different people, places, things, and experiences in her life. It's a great way to start the day. It is. And if that feels good to you, I invite you to do that. And if that feels schmaltzy and vomitous, don't. But I invite you today to at least stop and decide, what can you choose to be grateful for today? Maybe it's the lessons that you've learned in life. She goes on to write, we even want to be grateful for these lessons that we have in life. Don't run from them. They're little packages, nuggets of treasure that's been given to us. As we learn from the experiences that we've had in life, these lessons that she speaks of, our lives have the opportunity to change for the better. And she goes to say that I now rejoice when I see another portion of the dark side of herself. I know that it means I'm ready to let go of something that's been hindering my life. I say thank you for showing me this so I can heal it and move on. So whether the lesson is a problem that's cropped up, an opportunity to see an old negative pattern within us that it's time to let go of, rejoice. When I got home from being out with my friends last night, I had the opportunity to re-engage with the situation with my neighbor that causes such angst and anger and disappointment, if you will. And the opportunity was for me to step right back into that pattern and to be part of the problem. And I literally had to stand on the sidewalk for a moment and ask myself, what is it that I want in my life right now? Do I have the capacity to have the compassion to believe that potentially they're doing the best they can and to not engage in problems, but to do what is best for me, to live from love, and then let the universe do its part? I chose the latter. It wasn't easy. Woke up this morning potentially wanting to re-engage it. I'm sharing this with all of you because what it reminds me of, and I know it will remind you of, is that we're all human. We're all on this journey of finding our personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening day by day by day by day. And so let's all choose to be grateful no matter what. To not set ourselves up to think that there are those out there that are more perfect than we are, or that to self-deprecate ourselves on the journey that we've been on. We have an opportunity before us in this very moment to make a choice. to remember that life is good. Because remember, the definition of happiness, and happy days are here again, is living a good life. We can only live a good life when we choose to affirm that life is good. And so today is the day that we get to choose to know that gratitude opens the door to the power, to the wisdom, to the creativity of the universe. As we look at those doors opening on the screen, ask yourself, what doors are being opened for me? I'm not saying me, Keith Cox, me, the you, the I am of yourself right now. What door would you like to have closed in your life of your state of mind or your behavior, the way that you've shown up, or even the things that you fear? And what door are you ready to open up for the universe to bring more creativity, more wisdom, more power to you? For the only way it can do that is through you and through me. It's there waiting for us to tap into our own energy of expressing it, which is creative by nature. Let's begin to see life more from the multi-dimensionality of life itself. To remember that in this oneness of life, that we can use this energy, our creative energy, purposefully, to begin to embrace and engage in the multi-dimensionality of the oneness of life, and to not be a victim. To remember that we live in a universe that is governed by the law of cause and effect, the law of karma. And let's also not stand back and think that if others did something that we didn't see as positive or life-affirming, that karma is going to come back and bite them in the butt, because that too is not living from a place of love. But let's not forget, as it shows us on the screen, that every action generates a force of energy that returns to us in like kind. So what we sow is what we reap. And when we choose actions that bring happiness and success to others, the fruit of our karma is happiness and success. And so today is the day that we get to choose to be grateful to the best of our ability, 24 hours a day. Let's all covenant and commit and engage in a life starting with this moment of choosing to act in life and not react. And to remember that this law of karma, this law of cause and effect, it responds to us by corresponding to our state of mind. And so let's choose to be grateful as a way of life, 24/7, or at least to the best of our ability. And to remember today, as we've learned that gratitude is the key to happiness, that it's not just a word, it can be a way of life. It can be a way of life. For gratitude plus forgiveness times love equals happiness. Let's let that be our guidepost for the day. And so it is. And thank you so very much for letting me share my story and my life and my thoughts with you. I'm going to invite back to the screen Yaron to sing a song for us that we all know, adore, and love. Yaron?
When I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. And in my hour of darkness, she is standing right in front of me, speaking words of wisdom, let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. Whisper words of wisdom, let it be. And when the broken-hearted people living in the world agree, There'll be an answer. Let it be. 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 There'll be an answer. Let it be. 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 There'll be an answer. Let it be. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer. Let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be, let it be. There will be an answer. Let it be.
Thank you, Yaron. That brought peace and calm to me, that song. I love it because what it's telling us is let it be, meaning let go of what was and just let the power in the presence make itself known, and then let's make a choice to go forward.
Exactly.
Good. Well, thank you for gracing us and blessing us with your gift this morning. Just so delightful to have you back, and you're like a warm fuzzy for us. So glad you're back, and I know that things are going really well for you in Orlando as you work for the great Disney Corporation, and you're doing amazing things. And one of the things I love about the work that you do is I know you're creating stuff that's going to come down the pike for a while down the pike. So later on, we get to experience that good that you're working on. So thank you.
Thank you. Grateful to be here. Thank you.
Good. Thank you, Yaron. And so Yaron will take us through in a moment our conscious giving song, as I'm going to put on the screen for us to look at the opportunities and the methods to support our community financially, and know that giving is a way of life, and the abundance and prosperity of the universe, as spoken earlier of in our service, and the message is one of those things that we get to show gratitude on for this community being here and being an opportunity for us to stay connected. And one of the great ways to support that, of course, is through the good of the universe known as money. We shouldn't shy away or hide from it. And so this is an opportunity for you to give of your good in a way that supports the ministry. So it presents an opportunity for each one of us to be together in this format and continue to learn and grow together. If you'll look on the screen, the opportunities to do that is our website, csl-la.org, and click on donate, and that will take you through the a link through PayPal to donate, as well as our app in the App Store, Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. There's a tab called Donate. You can tap on that. You can mail in a check. Our address is 1200 North La Brea Avenue, West Hollywood, California, 90038. Or you can call me, as my number's on the screen, and I can handle that for you privately. And those are the options to do that. When we take a moment and do that and just feel the presence of the energy of giving, as we did for giving, love and support and connection to each other, let's feel that same energy as we support the community. And Yaron will take us through our conscious giving song called Love Is My Decision, and I invite you to sing along as you do your participation in consciously giving to the community. Yaron.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And one side to side to change my mind. Source will show me how. Love is my decision, yeah, my decision right here. right now.
And so it is. Thank you, Yaron. So just to give you an update of some things that are going on here, just want to let you know that my Wednesday morning midweek meditation continues. That's at 8:30 a.m. You can find that information on our website, csl-la.org, or in the App Store, or in the weekly e-newsletter that goes out. If you're receiving that, please feel free to read that, and if not, we'll be happy to have you sign up. You can sign up on our website, csl-la.org, or you can sign up through our app in the App Store. Also now on both of those is an opportunity to sign up for my daily texts that go out called A New Thought for the Day, which is a very little succinct message each morning at 7:30 a.m. that helps us frame our state of mind for the day that is ahead. And I'd love to have us grow that as much as possible. So please share that with your friends and family so that they may experience that daily inspiration. As well as I'm encouraging you all to invite into our community more individuals so that we may experience growth and to also hold that ideology in mind. I know there's some challenges for many of us that we're not back in person doing that, and it's just not falling into place for us to do that for a multitude of reasons that we've talked about it before, and we can talk about it again, and certainly be open to that conversation if the community is ready to support that fully and wholly and financially. To let you know that we are working on the next gathering together. We've talked about that before. Right now the plan is to gather in the same location that we did before at Roxbury Park on October 31st. Our intention that day is to not only come together and share in community with food, but also to do a volunteer project and potentially pack some kits for either homeless individuals or LGBT youth, but to make it a community-driven opportunity to be together that day. And so know that that's the plan, and watch for more details to follow in regards to that. Also, to let you know that in the next few weeks you'll receive some emails regarding our slate of new board members that will come out for us to vote on as a community to replace those that have transitioned out, and to keep the center moving in order as we need to do that. Also, right now we're doing an event with Congregation Cola Me on World AIDS Day, which is December 1st. As we've done before, we're bringing in a panel from the AIDS Quilt for that to happen. So just want you to know that there are things rumbling and stirring in the background. If you have any thoughts or suggestions on that, please let me know. You can email those to me. My email address is keithc@csl-la.org. Also, to let you know, in the next 2 weeks, I'll announce the next series of classes that will take place, which will indeed take place online. And so that's what's going on in our community. I want to say a big thank you to Yaron and to Robert and to Travis this morning for bringing a really fabulous morning of music and technology for us to step into this arena of choosing to live to be happy, and to know that happy days indeed are here again. Our theme for the month of October is the multidimensionality of oneness. My intention is to have us continue on this path of opening up and looking at life from a new perspective, from different layers, from different lenses. And from that viewpoint, from that engagement, we'll continue to strengthen for each one of us our faith muscles, our awareness muscles, our using the law of life consciously muscles. And so I'm looking forward to that, and I trust and know that you are as well. It's been a great day together. I hope that I affirm and know for all of us that there's been an enriched experience that has transpired for all of us today, and that we're growing individually and collectively and putting that out to the universe, and all in life are reaping the benefits and the rewards of our consciously choosing to be conscious. And so with that said, let's close with a spiritual mind treatment. And so I affirm for us today that the very thing that we sought to experience is growth, is fulfillment, is expansiveness, is self-awareness. That indeed has transpired for us, and for that we say thank you. We let go of any need to be pious or spiritual on this journey of self-awareness, of evolution, of tuning into our divine nature. And we just let ourselves be who we are. In the traditional saying, warts and all. But not letting ourselves hang out in that state of mind. Just becoming aware of it. And then tuning into a higher vibrational frequency. And then purposefully and intentionally and consciously using that frequency. To let it out, to emit it. To spiral upward into the map of consciousness, choosing to vibrate at a frequency that's higher than before. And the frequency that we choose is that of gratitude. Remembering that gratitude is the magnet that brings forth into our field of experience, because it's our state of mind, happiness. And remembering that happiness is not a result or anything in the external. It's a resonance field of the internal. And so we feel it. We allow ourselves to know it. And then we allow ourselves to give it. And so we do. Moment by moment. Thought by thought. Feeling by feeling. This is the journey. Our journey of finding our personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. Let's let it be. And so it is. And so it is. Thank you all for being here today. In just a moment, you'll hear it state that the recording has been stopped, as well as we will say goodbye to those that have joined us through Facebook. Following that, as those of us that are on Zoom will have the opportunity to turn our cameras on first, and then after that we can turn our microphones on and meet and greet and say hello should we choose to do that. I affirm for all of us that we have a blessed day and a blessed week ahead, and that we're already in that field of vibrations of gratitude and wonderment is happening in our life. Thank you, and namaste.